Hey everyone, Tim with Collect Jurassic, and today we're going to be looking at something a little different from Mattel than the normal 3.75-inch figures. We're going to be looking at these Bendy Biters. Yes, these are a Mattel Jurassic World product. You might not have heard of them, you might have. Kind of like a novelty with some style you can already see just here in the box, but we'll be opening these up and talking about them, doing a couple comparisons to some other figures. I do have the 4-pack here to open of the Bendy Biters that has Stegosaurus, Velociraptor, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and Dilophosaurus, which is awesome. Again, all by Mattel. But I also have these 2-packs behind me too, which I won't be opening, but I just wanted to show some of the different packaging variations. You have this 4-pack. You also have these 2-packs. This one's Stegosaurus and Velociraptor. There's also Stegosaurus and T-rex, Velociraptor and T-rex, and Dilophosaurus and Stegosaurus. So they have the same figures in the 2-packs as this 4-pack. This 4-pack just happens to have them all. And for anyone asking where this came from, I believe I got mine from Ross, but I believe they're also at a couple other like home goods kind of stores, like closeout stores basically. But I got this one from Ross, as well as the 2-packs are from Ross as well. So pretty cool. Bendy Biters, again, sort of a novelty thing. So we'll go ahead and open these up and do some comparisons. I already went over the box here, but we can look at the back too before we open it up. It has the 4 renders on there, that little nifty Bendy Biters logo as well. That they have, sort of a branded thing. You know what? We've been opening a lot of toys on this channel this year that I feel like were probably meant for Dominion in some way, and I definitely feel Bendy Biters is probably some sort of Dominion tie-in. Why, alongside the micro collection that we already reviewed, which I can talk about when I do some comparisons, it's like, why did Mattel bother doing these sort of like one-off kind of collections that are different than Snap Squad and all that stuff, if there wasn't for a movie tie-in or something like that? So that's my like theory, is that all these Bendy Biters, a micro collection, all that stuff was meant for a proper movie release. But that's just some some conjecture on my part. I definitely don't have proof of that. But let's go ahead and get some figures out. I'm going to start with Dilophosaurus here because Dilophosaurus is in the news, probably going to show up in Dominion, kind of giving more evidence as to why this figure is even in this pack. So everyone's been talking about Dilophosaurus lately, and here's the Bendy Biter Dilophosaurus. These guys have more of a street shark vibe than even Snap Squad. Speaking of Snap Squad, I'd love to do a little comparison of this Dilophosaurus figure with its green and red and sort of like reddish eye. It's a dead ringer for the Snap Squad version of Dilophosaurus, the first one we got. They're very similar looking figures, but here you can already see how different the style is between these two figures. There's definitely a lot more anger with the Bendy Biters. They just have overall a more angry look on their face. But the coloration for these two is very, very similar, which I think is, they're obviously inspired by the Snap Squad, to make this, to make the coloration of this Bendy Biter. But here you can kind of also see, one for one, the breakdown of how different these figures are. Snap Squad's hard plastic with the little biting and the wiggly arms. Bendy Biters, on the other hand, are all flexible. The tail has a wire in it. See how they have a bend in their tail, and they all have that bend in their tail. Every single figure in the box has that bend. The wire doesn't go all the way to the end of the tail, which is probably to prevent it from breaking out. But the tail's bendy, the legs are all bendy, the arms are bendy to a certain degree, like probably through the elbows. The head is bendy, and the jaw, that kind of looks like it's, the mouth is just plastic sculpted. There's no articulation with the jaw. It's maybe it kind of bends closed. Maybe it does bend closed or bend open. So there's a little bit of play in it, but not much. But the neck and all that stuff. So I can have some fun with these now, and kind of, now that they're out of the box, I can actually pose them. I mean, obviously they'll eventually be in my display back there, so I can do some really fun poses. Whip the tail back over here. So pretty fun. Dilophosaurus, Bendy Biters. Let's go ahead and look at T-Rex next. That's another one that I think has a sort of comparison to Snap Squad that is worth making. T-Rex with the same brown colors that we've seen since Fallen Kingdom. We'll go articulation first. It's got that bend in the tail, but the tail is fully articulated. Do crazy stuff with the arms and the legs. So there you can really see some of the He's like a roadkill T-Rex, but there you can really see some of the articulation you can do. The neck, of course, is articulated, and this one, the jaw still is just, it's like you're moving the plastic to make it open, but it doesn't actually have any kind of wire construction in it in order to let you really do anything too crazy with it. But I like that they did the arms bendable, like from the shoulder down. You can kind of do some, see, look at the little like pose I did just doing that. And the feet are huge on all these, so they're very easy to stand up. But let's talk about the Snap Squad comparison here, because you can see that these sport the exact same colorway still. I mean, that's pretty standard for Fallen Kingdom's T-Rex coloration from Mattel, kind of carried over in a lot of different ways. Even as they've repainted the T-Rex, like you can see the epic roaring T-Rex behind me, this sort of standard brown color has always been the Jurassic World version of the T-Rex. But here they are, Snap Squad and Bendy Biters side by side. Big yellow eye, big chunky teeth, all that stuff's the same. Again, this guy just looks a little bit meaner. He looks a little more innocent. So the Bendy Biters T-Rex, Bendy Biters Dilophosaurus. Let's go ahead and look at the Velociraptor. Raptor here, though, not named Blue or anything like that. Literally just called Velociraptor on the box. See that? Which I think is kind of remarkable. We're usually talking about Blue or a Jurassic Park Raptor, but this sort of grayish Raptor is all different. So trying to see if it has some darker coloration. And I also don't have any comparison, from any other toy, even the Mattel 3.75-inch figures. There's really nothing that I would compare colorways to this Raptor. It's sort of its own thing, which is cool and intriguing why there's like a different color of the Velociraptor all of a sudden. But he's got his big claws on his feet. I do kind of like the more angular look that these figures all have. I would almost, it's not geometric, but like if you look here on the legs, they're almost built out of blocks. There's some like hard edges or seams. The tail 100% has like facets on it. So they almost gave these guys a blocky look, which is, different than Snap Squad or Micro Collection from Mattel. This guy's got all the same articulation as the others. Again, that jaw doesn't really pose, but the arms all pose and all that stuff. I never understood why wire toys have all these holes in them, but I'm guessing that's something to do with the wire inside and having to, like, I don't know, have some air pockets or something so that it can actually bend. I don't know. Somebody can tell me in the comments why that is. But that's Velociraptor, T-Rex, and Dilophosaurus out of the box. Finally getting poses too. I'm going to give this Raptor a cool pose because I finally can, right? Let's have him be calling up in the air like in the first movie. There we go. That's cool. And then let's open Stegosaurus. We get a herbivore in here, which is interesting. That's a Stegosaurus. You'd think Triceratops would be one of the first go-tos, or if we're talking about bendable figures, a Apatosaurus would have been a fun one too with that long neck. But here's Stegosaurus. I'm actually going to go ahead and move this box out of here now. Push my unboxed guys back. Here's Stegosaurus. Huge long tail. I guess the other ones have a long tail, but this one's got spikes on the end of it, so it's even more sort of obvious how long it is. All the same articulation. This is a quadruped versus the bipedal versions of the three figures we've already opened. So she's going to be on all fours, but the head moves, no mouth open, no teeth showing. She's just got a mean look on her face, basically. This Stegosaurus does remind me of a figure that I want to do a comparison of, and that's, I've been talking about it in the review, but the Micro Collection Stegosaurus. Different eye paint, but definitely the plate color and the beak color and the eye highlights are all the same. Both of these are Mattel figures. Again, this is Micro Collection Stegosaurus. They're to kind of glue to these little bases. If you want to know more about them, there's a whole review on them on the channel if you want to watch. Yeah, I mean, they have similarities here for sure. You can tell they're from the same toy company with the same sort of like design brief. But this Bendy Biter is kind of fun because you have that big long tail that you can move with the spikes. Kind of get her in like a swinging action, looking mean. I wonder if you can you can kind of rotate this tail like on the wire too, so the spikes are upwards. That's pretty cool. I'm actually gonna make her be like whip him back, ready to like do some damage. So that's the only herbivore that we get out of all these. But I think it was a good choice, actually, now that I've got it out of the box with the spiky tail. That's pretty fun. But Bendy Biters from Mattel. This is the first wave. I wouldn't be surprised if more figures come. I mean, obviously, we've covered some key species, T-rex and Velociraptor. But Dilophosaurus is super fun to see, and I think, there's more. They could do Apatosaurus and Gallimimus and Triceratops, and they could do Baryonyx. I mean, there's so many different carnivores. They could do Carnotaurus. They could do a Bendy Biter Mosasaurus. So I'm guessing we'll see more of these on the way. Though at the same time, these figures only being available at closeout stores is always a little suspect of what their future really is. But I think for what they are, they're pretty fun. The quality on them is actually pretty good for considering the price. I think I got the 4-pack for like $15, so not too bad. Decent paint applications, obviously super fun. And for kids, they're super bendable too, and they got some style, so I think that'll always appeal to people. For kids, kids, not just collectors, but for collectors, these are actually pretty fun too. If you already collect Snap Squad and, stuff that's a little bit different than the main Mattel line, these are kind of a fun addition. So I think that's all I got to say about Bendy Biters. But I hope you enjoyed this review. Again, I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.